Hello and welcome to episode 10, we made it eventually, of the Thoughtful Knitter video journal. My name's Ailie and I'm coming to you from the very far north of Scotland, and it's really nice to have your company. So massive thank you to anyone who's been hanging around wondering where I've been and waiting for a new episode. Thank you for bearing with me and coming back, and another huge welcome to anyone who's new. Yeah, so I've been missing in action for an awful lot longer than I meant to. I think I last recorded a video back in early April, and the reason is I think it was 10 days after recording the last episode I caught COVID, and I mean, pretty good going really, considering I work in healthcare and that was over 2 years into a pandemic, so can't complain. But yes, it lingered around for quite a while, and the fatigue on top of the fatigue I normally have was pretty hard going. It wasn't a pretty sight. So yes, I have been missing in action. Thankfully I have been knitting still, and yeah, I've just kind of taken it upon myself to record today. The lighting isn't great, it's really windy outside, so you might hear that. I've got a great big pluck. My hair is in desperate need of a haircut because COVID brain, I forgot my last hair appointment, so we're getting close to lockdown hairstyles here. I think it's now been 10 weeks since I last got it cut, and I normally have it cut every 5 weeks. Anyway, this is not a healthcare and hairdressing video. This is a knitting video. So let's get into it. I was planning to have a giveaway in this episode, and that's definitely going to go ahead because I feel like 10 episodes is a bit of a milestone, especially given my lack of consistency recently. So that's definitely going to go ahead, and there'll be a section towards the end about that. So those are the admin type things, announcements, those sorts of things. Let's get on now to the regular content and start off with what I'm wearing. So I'm going to lean back a little bit so you can see what I'm wearing properly today. It is a short sleeved t-shirt. It's probably not meant to be worn as I'm wearing it, but it's cold, so I've combined it with a long sleeve t-shirt. This is Voice Beach by Jennifer Beale, and I spoke about it in my last episode quite a lot because I was having a lot of swatching for this colourwork section, and I would love to thank you all for your feedback and apologise profusely for ignoring all of it. Most people, I'm going to show you, most people were all about this swatch, which I said I didn't want to go with. I feel like I need to explain myself because everyone liked it so much. So the reason I didn't want to go with it is from a distance it looks quite stripy, like the contrast between this middle bit compared to the rest just is too stark. And also this colour in the middle here, I just thought it was a bit flat. The other ones have quite a lot of heathering in them, but this central one is very, very flat, and I didn't like it. So what I ended up doing was something completely different, but what I think I said I was possibly going to do. So I ended up not changing the background colour throughout the motif, and instead just having one single change right in the middle there. I'm aware that I'm just pointing at my nipples, which is a bit off-putting. So yeah, let's just start at the beginning. Yeah, this is a pattern. Oh, my brain. Honestly, I don't know if this was a good idea or not. I can't even form sentences. Right. So I've already told you what the pattern is. Let's just talk about the knitting of it. It was really, really good fun. There was loads of new techniques. It was something interesting the whole time. It's definitely not TV watching knitting. You need to have your brain engaged. And if you are not a chart reader or lover of charts, then this pattern is definitely not for you, because I don't think there's even many written instructions at all. No. So yeah, thankfully, I mean, I would far rather knit from charts, so it suits me down to the ground. The only other thing I would say negatively about the pattern is there's not a huge number of sizes. It is an older pattern, and I kind of see a trend in that older patterns tend to just have maybe 5 or 6 sizes, and quite a narrow range. Yeah, so I think I told you last time, this top section is knit in that direction, and there's short rows to shape so that it's larger on this side than it is round the neck. And then you pick up and knit the colour work band. I'm going to put a picture in for you to have a look what I'm talking about, because I keep poking at my breasts and I don't need to be flashing my paps at you. So yeah, you work down the way, and then you'll see from the picture it's got a curved asymmetric hem. It is an unfinished hem. It's just stocking stitched the whole way, so it rolls. I decided I would just live with it for a wee while and see what I thought about it, whether the rolling would be too much for me, and I think it is. It's rolling up a bit too much. But I think what I might do is apply an I-cord edge into it and see if that'll hold it down. I've got plenty of the main colour left, so that wouldn't be a problem. The only other thing I did differently to the pattern, so I added a little bit of length and lowered the waist decreases and hip increases. And this section up here ended up stretching out quite a bit, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think one was I had ironed it last time, and I think I was maybe a little bit excessive in my force of getting it flat, so I maybe stretched it out a bit. But also I had to go up a needle size because I'm a tight knitter. So the roll gauge here was off, which means that it was longer than it should have been. So it's probably a size bigger than it should be. And yeah, I'll just tell you the colours I did go for. So my main fabric is knitted in this, which is Woolyknit, and it is I think the colourway is called Aran, natural Aran or something. So it's a kind of off-white creamy colour. It's not completely white. So I had that right down to here, and then I actually did change the background colour, and I used this, which is slightly creamier again. So that was what I did in the background there. I chose that because it was slightly creamier, and it also the Woolyknit, the stitches are still quite distinct because it is worsted spun yarn, and all of these are woolen spuns, and this kind of Shetland yarn like this, it melds together a lot better in the motif, so that's what I used for the background of the central bit. And then I did a progression of colours, and they are colour FC12 mix. It's a nice heathered one. This one is 29 mix, another heathered one. And then we move into this kind of bluey one, which is FC34 mix. It's also heathered, but it's not picking up on camera. And then finally, this is a Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift, and that is colour 135, and it's called Surf. And then right in the centre there, I used the very last of my John Arbon Exmoor sock, and this is in the colourway Drumble, I think. So that's just that single line in the middle. And I can't remember the details of which needle size I used, so I will put it on the screen and everything will be linked down below. I'll probably link my Ravelry projects there. So I have already been speaking for 10 minutes just about what I'm wearing. I think this is going to be a problematic episode. Right, let's get on to finished objects. I'm just going to talk about two finished objects today. Well, I suppose this was a finished object, but I'm only going to speak about two more because I do have others, but I'll tell you about those in the future because they kind of lead on to other projects. So the first one is it was a test knit, and it's just come out. I think the introductory discount will be passed by the time this video goes up, so that's a shame. I'll put a picture in of the design. It's called the Strawberry Fields Top, and it was one of those occasions when blinking Instagram, you're just minding your own business and something pops up, somebody you don't even follow, and you see something and get a bit obsessed with it. So that was me with this pattern, and I've got no idea why I signed up to it because it is not weather appropriate to where I live, but maybe I can wear it on holiday sometime or wear it as underwear. But I'll just show you my one. It's very bright. Oh my word, it looks even more bright now. So this is the Strawberry Fields top. It's a vest top. I've knitted it in all plant fibres. It's really drapey and light, and the main reason I liked it is this stitch pattern. I saw it and I just thought, oh, I'd love to have a shot of knitting that. And I was actually watching Nikki of the Knitting with Cat Hairs podcast last night, and it was quite funny listening to her because she was talking about people being process knitters or project knitters, and about her being a process knitter and choosing her projects based on it being something she wants to knit rather than it being something that she'll wear. And this is definitely one of those cases. So I tend to find that the things I actually probably need in my wardrobe and actually really like are quite plain, but the thought of knitting them just makes me want to lose the will to live. So yes, so instead I knit summer knits and live in a climate where we're lucky if it gets above 15 degrees C. So this yarn as well is one of these purchases I made online, and the colour of the yarn when it came back was not the colour that was seen on my screen of my iPad. So it is a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. I still like it though, and I think it's the bamboo content that gives it that glossy look. So the yarn is New Arreso by Hjertegarn, which is a Danish company, and it is 33% linen, 47% bamboo and 20% cotton. And I actually really liked working with this. It didn't feel hard in my hands at all. quite soft and yeah, easy to work with. I learnt a new technique for joining balls, which I found on Mel Make Stuff YouTube channel. If you don't follow her, I definitely recommend it. She has really informative videos. So if you're a bit of a knitting geek and enjoy learning, kind of looking at people's projects in depth and learning things, she does some really good deep dives into her projects, and she also has quite a few different videos with techniques and things. So she has one about different ways of joining linen yarn, and one of them was for plied yarns, which this one is, and it was braiding technique. So you basically pleat the yarns together. So I used that in this and it worked a treat. I can't even tell you where my joins are. The pattern was really easy to follow. Again, this is one of these ones that has very poor size inclusivity. So I'm sorry, I really am. It must be frustrating if you're watching a video and you see something that you want to make and it's not available in your size. But yeah, I'm terrible for just like seeing something that I like and knitting it, and also knitting older patterns. Now this isn't an older pattern, but quite often with newer patterns you could probably even get in touch with the designer and offer to test knit a bigger size, because I think quite often they struggle to get test knitters for bigger sizes. But if you offer, then they might, I mean I can't speak for the designer, but they might agree to grade it up and you can test it for them. So this is, as I said, the Strawberry Fields top, and it is by Camille, who is Macamee, I think. I'll put it on the screen. And it is one of these projects that has a real attention to detail. So if you love lots of tiny little details, this is for you. It's got like your tubular cast on and cast off. You've got your straps leading up exactly from the rib here, and you do, I learned a new technique here which was really cool, how to Kitchener in twisted rib. And yeah, I think if you live somewhere a lot warmer than I do, this would be a lovely addition to your wardrobe. And I might just wear mine under my jumpers. So yes, that is finished object number 1. Let's talk about finished object number 2. These are my Rose City Roller shorty socks. So I eventually finished them. I knit them in Woolly Mammoth Natural Sock in the colourway Festive Nights, and I think I used 2.5mm needles, and I think I followed the pattern, but I did 60 stitches instead of, it had 64 and it had 56, but I did 60. So it's a heel flap and gusset. And the only thing I did differently on these is another technique I learned from Mel on Mel Makes Stuff, and it was to work asymmetric toes. So, don't know if you can see that, but that would be my right foot. No, it won't be my left foot because that's the bottom of it. But the decreases, can you see that the decreases are more acute here, and they don't start until later here, which is the shape of your foot. And then obviously the opposite for the other side. So I saw this on her podcast, and it's a pattern that she's written herself. It's free on Ravelry. So there's a 4-ply fingering weight version and also a sport weight version, I think. And it fits really well. I wonder will I stick one on? Let's see. How would I show you? Let's see. Can you see that? Not really. That a bit better? Anyway, take my word for it, they fit well. So yeah, I think I would do that again if I'm in another sock, which I probably will. I've got plans to do a knit along with a friend, and we're going to knit a pair of socks. So slowly but surely I am turning into a sock knitter. That's number 2. That's my second pair of socks, and they're only shorties, but they're still socks. So yeah, those were the only things I really wanted to tell you about those. So let's go on to works in progress. I'm going to start off with a wee update from last time. I was showing you the green, which I was knitting out of Uradale Yarns sock in her old base. I'll put a picture in here. It's the only picture I have of it, and I actually took that picture about over a year ago. So my progress is this. I decided the reason I had it sitting for a year was that I could not handle the pulling, and I knew that, and I kept trying to find a way around it. So eventually I just bit the bullet, thought I'd rather liberate the yarn and use it for something else. I'll maybe use it for stripes, or possibly lose my mohair virginity and pair it with a mohair to kind of calm down the pulling, because it pulled even though I alternated hanks. So yes, so that is your first update. A very nice work in progress. So my second work in progress, I don't normally like to go on about things that I have, because I'm very aware that there are people like me who have no self-control, and if they're being bombarded all the time with adverts, and if I start talking about things that I like on these videos, I don't want you to be thinking that it's an advert. But I have told you before, I think it was on my special 1000 subscriber giveaway video about somebody who makes bags who lives in the Highlands, and that's Harriet of Harriet Wildwood Stitches. And I had bought, well actually I'll show you. Oh, so lovely. I had spotted this on her website and her updates and sat on my hands, didn't buy it because I do not need another sock bag. But I had got in touch with Harriet and said, have you got enough left that you could make like a jumper sized bag? But sadly she didn't. So that was fine, wasn't meant to be. And then a month or so later, she had another update, and I loved that one too. So I ended up getting this one, which is one of her sweater bags. And I mean, look at that. She always has amazing linings as well. So she has, oh, you can't see it, but there are thistles and Celtic knots, and there are bees in here too. Where's a bee? Sure there are. There's a bee. So she has amazing linings, everything is just beautiful. This is Harris Tweed. So yes, these had come up and I was like, right, yes, I'll have that. And it actually arrived just when I came down with COVID, so that was meant to be as well. It was a nice cheer up. But she had so kindly remembered that I liked this one and sent it for me as a gift, which was so kind. So there you go. It's not an advert, but she's lovely and her work is impeccable. Anyway, all that to say, my next work in progress is living in here. And I was somehow managed to clear my needles completely. I was having a bit of a crisis where I was like, oh, what am I gonna cast on next? Nothing was calling to me. And I don't really want to be buying yarn at the moment. I want to use what I've got, but everything I have is quite wintry. And I couldn't, I kind of had this urge to knit with summer colours. So I pulled out this cake here. Which I got in a yarn de-stash. And it is by Yarn Badger. And the colour is Garden Path, and it's just a sock yarn, so 4-ply, it's superwash merino and nylon, and I thought, oh, I'd love to knit something with this. I know I'll knit something for my niece, because other people cast on socks, I cast on baby knits because they're quick, you get immediate gratification. They're interesting, there's something happening all the time because their bodies are short, so there's not lots and lots and lots of stocking stitch. So I decided to cast on a pattern by Kelly of Roro and Cades, who has a podcast that I've mentioned before. So this is, how cute, this is her little boy. He is so cute. This is a few years ago, I think he's 5 now. But, so this is the Fia vest. Kelly had a really good sale on in April, because her birthday was in April, and I think she had something like 43% off her patterns. So I bought a couple of kiddies patterns, and I thought, right, I quite enjoyed this lace section, and this has some lace in it, so this is what I'm going to do. So I cast it on, got completely obsessed, because I can understand why sock knitters get really, really hooked on self-striping yarn, because this is just a joy. So here's the lace at the bottom. I think this was just meant to be 1x1, but I did twisted rib because my 1x1 rib is quite ugly. And up I went, and then I made life difficult for myself. So I am a massive perfectionist and quite a visual person, and things need to be aesthetically pleasing for me. And I realised that because this is a self-striping yarn, you're meant to work up to the underarms and then you split and you work the front and the back separately. But I knew that was going to then end up messing up my stripes. They were going to get a lot wider because this area was going to be a lot less stitches than the whole way around. So I decided that I would put steeks in. So I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, I just did it. So I basically was following 3 different parts. I was following the front and the back, but then the front split from left to right as well. So there was 3 different sections I was following at once, but knitting them all together. With I added 3 stitches for the steeks. This is the sleeves. It goes right up here. So I added an extra 3 stitches, and you'll see that I've already put in the reinforcements for cutting it. So these are just crochet slip stitches. So there's the sleeves there and the other sleeve opening there. And then there's also the front opening and the back opening. So that's the front, and then this will be cut to get the two bits like that. And then the back is just a wee short bit. There. So maybe if I can figure out how to do the camera action, you can join me and we can cut the steaks and have a wild Saturday night together. Or if whatever time you're watching this. So yes, that's the only thing I'm going to have to do then is pick up stitches and work the armbands and the neckbands. And I mean, it did still, because there's an awful lot less stitches here than there is at the bottom. So these are still, especially up at the top, these stripes are a lot wider. But as a whole, it's not dreadful. Whereas I know that if I had done this flat, I would have been doing some serious yarn management and I would have ends everywhere. So we're going to give it a go. The worst that'll happen is I lose this top part of the top and I reknit it flat. But it's fine because I have plenty of yarn left. Okay, let's try this. Never done this through a video before, so it could be interesting. The plan is to cut up this central stitch. So here we go. There we are. One armhole has been liberated. There's the stake. So I will pick up stitches along here. Okay, let's try the other one. Second armhole. Now for the front. And finally the back. And now everything is free. So I'm just gonna pull the camera out and you can see that it looks like a little vest top. Et voila! I am knitting the size 1 year, I think. Yeah. And yeah, really easy to follow pattern, well written, and I would definitely knit another one. I am definitely going to knit another one because I really like that little bit of lace, and yeah, maybe I would do it in a less stressful way and just use one colour and not have all these steaks. So yeah, that is my first finished object. Not finished object, that's my first work in progress. And while I was at it, I thought, well, I'll just knit the other pattern that I bought of Kelly's, which is the allium, and it is a cardigan. Look, there's a little Rowan again, isn't he cute? Little face. So yeah, that is the pattern. And I thought it would be a really good one to use up leftover yarn that I had from, it was from the Tree of Life blanket that I made for my niece when she was born last year. I had 3 and a bit balls left, and I knew it wouldn't be enough to knit a whole one, but I thought, well, I'll be able to use it and then I'll just have to buy a little bit extra. So I've gotten to the point that I have run out of yarn. I was hoping I was only going to need 1 extra ball, but I think I'm going to need 2. So this is what it's looking like so far. So I've got the body done and one sleeve almost done, it's just the ribbon to finish. And the only thing I did differently was this is meant to be Kitchenered together, but I just did a 3 needle bind off because I was tired and I couldn't be bothered trying to work out how to do Kitchener with twisted knits and purls. I've done it before, but my brain was not in it, so that is what I've got into so far. It's a lovely pattern, although I don't like knitting baubles, so I don't know why I decided to knit this pattern. But if you're a bauble fan, then this is a lovely one. Let me see if I can show you my baubles. I ended up doing them with a crochet hook because it was 5 stitches and you had to knit 5 together, and I just couldn't do it. But I've since found a really good tutorial by Caitlin Hunter about how to effectively do a crochet bauble but with your knitting needle, and it involves like putting your stitches over, like just doing you know, knitting them all and then passing them over the one stitch rather than having to knit together or purl together. So yeah, lots of purling in this one because it's knit flat, and you've got lots of twisted stitches too. So that is waiting for more yarn to arrive. So that got to that stage a couple of nights ago, and then I thought, well, what am I going to do? Because again, I was at the point where I was waiting to cut my steeks, and I want to do that with you, and I was waiting for yarn, and I had swatched for a few things but I wasn't feeling them. So I decided to cast on something that I've had yarn for over 3 years, maybe like 3.5 years. I've had the pattern in my favourites for probably about 4 years. So I decided to swatch for it and cast on, and I am hooked. So that's what's living in this lovely bag that I showed you earlier. And it is, I'll put a picture in. It is, now I don't know how you say this, Spana by Diana Walla, who is Paper Tiger, I think. I think she used to be Kate and Bikins, but she's now Paper Tiger. Again, not a good range of sizes for this one, but it is one of these ones that's bought through Quince and Company, so I think they own it. You can't get it through Diana Walla, and it's an older pattern, so I can't imagine that she's able to do anything about the size inclusivity. But yeah, so I have started this one, and I am in love. So it is bottom up, which is not normally something that I enjoy, but that's the way it is. I think colour work actually looks better in this direction, but I don't like knitting jumpers in this direction, so we'll see how it goes. There's no body shaping because of the colour work chart, so that should make it a bit easier. I think I've spotted that further up at the top of the chart there's going to be 3 colours together, so I've never done that before because I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to Fair Isle, that sort of thing, and it's only ever 2 colours. And it's also easier. But yeah, so these are like waves, and I'm knitting it in Cascade 220 Sport, and I am using this colour here, which is not coming up properly. It's called Lake Chelan, I think, and then contrasting with this one, which is quite good showing it next to this because you can see that it's a sage green. When I tried to take pictures of it, it just looks white next to this, but it is a nice sage green. And then the top part is going to be grey. I can't remember, I think it's called mixed grey. But these two have got nice heathered quality. So I have done the first repeat of the pattern. It's got a really nice detail down the side here. Each side has this, like a faux seam made with colour work. So I've knitted the first repeat of the pattern chart, and I think there's to be 3 of these, but I think I might do 4 because it looks quite cropped, and I'd rather, if it's quite a thick jumper, I'd rather it was going to keep my kidneys warm. So yeah, so there's, I think, like I said, there's 3 repeats, and then there's like a separate chart to get the top section. So I'm very much enjoying this so far, very new, but I can recommend it. And yeah, that's all there is to say about that. So that's all the knitting. Let's go on to the giveaway. For the giveaway, I wanted to share a hank of my favourite yarn with you. So this is Black Isle Yarns, and it's her Auchen base, which is a sport weight. It's woolen spun, and it comes in this really generous sized hank of 110 grams, which is 410 metres. And it is a beautiful blend of Blueface Leicester, Shetland and Cheviot. So I think I've mentioned Julie's yarns before. She lives in the Black Isle, which is just north of Inverness, so is quite local to me in terms of Highland. It's a really big area for the UK, but yeah, so I just love this, and it's, the bounce on it is incredible. But what I thought was, instead of imposing my colour choices, so this is the undyed base, instead of imposing my colour choices or my yarn choices on you, why not give away a voucher for Julie's shop? So I'm going to share a £25 voucher with you, and the winner can then choose whatever they like from Julie's shop. So if you are overseas and the cost of shipping would normally be prohibitive for you buying yarns over here, then maybe that little bit extra would be enough to offset that for you. So what I want you to do is like, comment, subscribe, all that sorts of things, but also for your comments, I would love to know what your small win is. You're, celebrating small things. So if you've got something that you've achieved, or something that's made you smile, or just a small thing that you'd like to share, then I'd love you to comment below, and I'll just pick a winner at random using the random comment picker. So my small win is that this year I have been completely neglectful of my garden, and I had bought bulbs, tulip bulbs, back in, I don't know, September, October time, and should have had them in the ground. I think the deadline on the packet was December, and of course I never did, and it came to, I think it was March, and I eventually put them in the ground. Thought they were going to rot and die, and they didn't. They all came up and they flowered. So that was my little win. They were really beautiful until today, when the wind took the heads away. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be anything huge, just a small thing that has made your day, made your week, made you smile, or made you feel good. So yeah, please comment below, and somebody will win a voucher for Julie's Yarns. So that's everything. I completely forgot to tell you all of my social media links and all that sorts of things. Anything I've mentioned is going to be in the description box down below. There is a Instagram account for the channel and it's called The Thoughtful Knitter. There is also an email address for this channel, which is thethoughtfulknitter@gmail.com, and that's it, I think. So we are losing light rapidly and I need to eat my dinner, and I think this is going to take a long time to edit because I am so out of practice. But it's been really nice speaking to you again and getting to chat about my makes, and please keep your fingers crossed that my energy levels continue to improve and that I'm able to come back and to have a chat with you again soon. I hope you're all well, and I hope you all keep well, and I will see you soon. Bye!